could come to one and you don't have to be there. You could come to one that your speaker isn't here. We just want to bring a diverse audience to them so that they're hearing more than just your perspective on their talk. These workshops, they'll bring whatever they have, their talk, wherever it is at. They'll deliver it just like a TED Talk, which hopefully will help with memorization. We'll give them feedback, filter through the next speaker. So it's different from the pitch sessions, because in the pitch sessions we only give them 3 minutes to talk. It's one-way feedback, whereas this will have time to bounce ideas off of one another. Aside from speaker and catalyst and leadership team in the room, we want to bring other people and other community members. So if you know, if you have friends that are interested in TEDx and just want to hear what amazing things youth are doing, bring them. We have the space, we can make it happen. Some other things that we're trying out this year, which goes along with giving our youth more social capital and introducing them to some really cool community members with some leverage. We have specific dates identified. So the Boston Children's Museum is hosting us. American Rhino and Faneuil Hall. Boston Consulting Group is hosting us again. We have these dates, and we're hoping to add more to the mix as well. But my intention, and One Beat's intention with hosting them here, is that hopefully we'll have a built-in audience from the Boston Children's Museum, American Rhino, from Boston Consulting Group. So we're going to invite, I'm just using BCG as an example, we'll send an email to them and hope that they can come listen in to these workshops specifically. Anything you want to add there?
I think we're going to get into this support model. I would just let you know that the workshopping times are great. It's surprising how catalysts will mingle some after our workshops, and they'll start talking about their speakers and what's going on, and have you run into this or what run into. So there's community happening. There's also this sort of impromptu, organic community of practice that tends to form. And without question, the most embodied young speakers that talk on Saturday will have been to multiple workshops, without question. They get so much out of it. I'm thinking of one young person in particular, that last year he and his catalysts were missing one another some, but he was at like 7 of our workshops, and especially did a lot of those in October. And the talk he brought to stage was really quite incredible. Closed the show last season. So anyway, yeah.
And literally the shared calendar is just assumed that every Wednesday, 7 to 9.
So we'll have Wednesdays and Thursdays. We're going to send calendars out. We have the calendar as a shared calendar, a Google Calendar that's available. I'll just show you. It has all the hard milestone dates, and it has place savers for all of our workshop, pitch, and other dates. And then what we'll do is we'll start sending out invites for the next couple of workshops, because we do require signups. We can't have 12 youth in a 2-hour window doing workshopping, so we'll do signups for each one. We have other volunteers that are helping out. A guy named Eric Rivas and other volunteers are helping with One Beat with the sort of logistics of managing each of our workshops and making sure that we've got a great and rich substrate of Catalyst speakers and community members to be there for those workshops, and plenty of breathing room for each of the speakers that are signed up. And if sometimes we undersubscribe on a workshop night, we might ask them to reschedule to another night, just so we can deliver the kind of workshopping experience that our young people and the community deserves.
The only other thing I wanted to mention, just going back to the example of the speaker who came to all the workshops, if we don't think that they're developing and we still want to give them a fair shot, we'll just talk to them about that. Like, hey, we feel like you're really lacking this part of the rubric. We think that you would benefit from coming to these catalysts, and it does give them a better shot. If we're like in between of, I don't know if we want to push them forward, and we see that they're showing up to every single one, they're committed to this, and they are developing new talk content, in my opinion, I would just be more inclined to push them forward with someone else who has a really incredible talk and they're just disengaged. So just keeping that in mind, encouraging your speakers who might be struggling a little bit to come to these. It's really important. Any questions on that? And it's available on Zoom too, so you don't have to come. We'll have it up on this TV or any other space. We'll make sure that the AV needs are there so you can join us or just listen in.
The workshop participants can come by
Yes.
Zoom. It's just,
Yeah.
you want to get into just really quick support model,
Yes.
and then we'll go through success points, match points.
Yep.
Support model, we're always working, again, to be relational and both flexible as well as structured. So, what are the structured ways we provide support? Abby and Andrea and Eric Rivas and volunteers will be calling you, not obnoxiously, but they want to call you just to make sure. Do you have what you need? Are you running into any roadblocks, challenges, anything you'd like to celebrate? It's not always about challenges. What's going really well? Let's plant a flag and dance around it real quick. Let's celebrate, you know? So you'll get those calls to try and surface issues. And the support person will work to resolve what's going on, or they'll escalate to the curation team as needed. Things come up. We're here to help. Every Sunday we have a drop-in, 7 to 9 o'clock. It's live and Zoom. So you can come to the Village Work in Brookline for the live. We've got a great, beautiful conference room there. And we Zoom into that. And it's just drop-in. No one has to schedule any time. If you want to make a time to drop into the Zoom or drop in person, talk about what's going on, great. 7 to 9 every Sunday night. That's going to be happening. We also have sort of breakouts during workshops. Sometimes you'll have something going on, curator, you can pull a curator aside and say, this is something that's going on back channel. You can email and call us. Those are more informal methods of support. We work to let you know the kinds of things we have deadlines that are forcing functions, and there are these tasks or jobs that need to get done to meet those forcing function deadlines. So when it comes to outline delivery, when it comes to memorization, we'll be in those calls checking in to see how we're doing towards that forcing function date. Are we getting traction? Do we need to intervene? How can we make sure we're giving our youth the best chance to succeed and advance in the process? So you'll hear that from us as well. What would you add?
I was just, not to this, I
Yeah.
have something else to add too, but
Okay.
I'm thinking
Great.
as far as communication goes, it seems really obvious, but just figure out their best way of communication. I have emailed, and I think I'm just used to emailing people now, but I will email a speaker 5 times, not hear from them at all, and then I'll text them 2 minutes later. Oh, I never got any of your emails. And I was like, is this the right email? And they're like, yep. And I realized they just prefer texting. I'll call them, they will answer, they'll text me back. Just figure out their mainstream of communication, and that's, then you can then set up some other times, but just keep that in mind. Sometimes people feel like they're disengaged and they're just not connecting with them the right way. So I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, and then the only other thing with matching too, back to Aaron's question just about like, is there this formula? And the answer is no, but sometimes it might seem a little twisted how we do it. If there's a STEM, if there's a speaker who created an organization, I'm thinking of one of the speakers that is currently a finalist, she created an organization at her school for STEM, and she's really passionate about this, which also means sometimes it's very full of jargon. We might pair you with someone who is really artistic and who's going to challenge them to be able to develop a talk that can reach a variety of audiences, if that makes sense too. But, yeah.
That's a great first point. She's covered complementarity. Enough said. It's not always the obvious match. You know, we don't need to match a scientist with a scientifically minded young person. Sometimes it's about how do we create the balance, holistic balance, for greatest reach and appeal, right, for the talk. Social capital, really important. Is the catalyst someone that might be additive and someone that can help project a young person into the future that they're desiring, or into the area of activism that they have interest in? Does extend their social capital in a meaningful way? Storytelling patterns. What kinds of storytelling patterns has the catalyst been engaged with? How does that overlay onto the kind of storytelling patterns we think will be especially powerful for the young person? And that can be independent of domain. That can be just, you know, what kinds of stories, what kinds of presentations, what kinds of teaching, coaching has a person done, and how does that fit with how we think a youth would be best served in the nature of the talk we believe are going to be giving. No formula, but these are some intentions that we tend to hold about working to do a good match. And again, reminding high caliber young people, high caliber catalysts, and we know generally, even with some intention, that things get figured out, schedules get figured out, the road mapping gets done, because you've got these really wonderful people coming together to do this work in service of the talk, and it works out. Success points for catalysts, anything you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. I mentioned roadmaps. This is so important for your time, for the speaker's time. Have a roadmap that you're actively, I don't know if you've ever done therapy, but if you've ever had a therapist like that forgets where they're at in your treatment, what they're trying to achieve. Well, it's just like that in coaching a young person that's giving a talk. Everyone wants to see results. You need to see results. Have an active roadmap, even if it's in an agile sense, adapting as it moves. But then there's a battery problem, probably. Let me just do that for even if there's it's adapting, have a roadmap that you're going back to and saying, this is what we're working on. And do we agree that this is what we're working on? Then you've got sort of shared buy-in, and you also know when you've hit some milestones and hit some goals together, and you're going to deliver, your deliverable is going to be impactful. So roadmap, have one, use it, refer to it, have it be that context that really helps you work smart.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Going off of that
Good.
too, so since I've been in contact with some of the speakers since March, I keep track of all of our emails, I keep track of all of the drafts they've sent, so that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Once you're matched, and I'm just thinking I need to do this for people who have already been matched, I'll send you all of the information that I have on them. You can take a look at it. With that said, it might be really minuscule, so don't completely use that as your crutch, but I will help you as much as I
And
can.
increasingly, you'll have a video of their pitch session
Oh, yeah.
and the conversation around their pitch session. So we didn't get that done in the very first pitch sessions, but every session since. It's a unlisted video. We ask you not to share it with anyone. These are really sacred spaces, and I use that word intentionally. You won't believe what these young people are bringing to us in their pitches, how heartfelt, how they're connected. So that these are unlisted videos, don't share them, but you'll be able to see the entire pitch and conversation, feedback we gave from the pitch, which will help you seed your roadmap and planning. And again, as you work, you'll adapt it, right? So that's another asset you'll have from us. Clear definition of execution, talk structure, and purpose. So often, young people will wing it in terms of how they think about how their talk needs to be structured. You can give them a lot of assistance in thinking about movements, arcs, flow, energy, charge, build, discharge, charge, discharge. So helping them with structural thinking around their talk and deliverables at different stages of their talk, open, middle, close. It's nominee agency. Abby talked that very well. It's about the nominee, their agency. We don't co-opt their energy, their agency. It's 100% their talk. We remind them, this is your talk. You bring it where it needs to go. Here's what I advise, all right? Voice recordings early and often. Don't just get the copy from them. Have them read it through no matter how rough. There's something special that happens, even with rough copy, when you can hear that speaker in your ear reading their copy, and you can see, you can sense where they're less connected to the words, the meaning, the purpose, the structure, and you can make notes then, and it also helps them witness. That self-witness is such a gift we can offer them when they go back and listen to their read through, which believe me they do. They don't just send it to you. They probably listen to it a couple times. Abby?
I was just gonna say, so when we coached 5 speakers last year, and all of them, we had all of our speakers like read through their talk or try and memorize it every time we met with them, and everyone was really resistant to do that, and they're like, not again, but it helped with memorization. It helped with doing exactly that, seeing where they were connected, where they were really just, they were so used to talking about this because it's a story they told